Hello my quilting family. Today we're bringing you the next block on our coffee themed sew along, and it's the cream pitcher. Now this is my mock-up and this is the block we're going to make today, and it's going to be, you know, kind of cute, little funky. I decided not to get too technical and too wild with the different creamers that I had around the house, so I thought, well, let's just do a basic cream pitcher. So come on a little closer and I'll show you how this block is sewn together. Okay, I've laid out the cream pitcher the way it's going to be sewn together. We're going to do the flip and stitch corners first and the handle. Get the hardest part out first. Then we're also going to do the flip and stitch, or the stitch and flip, I keep mixing them up, on the spout of the creamer. And then we start piecing the body together, and we start piecing the outside edges to the body and then the furthest edge to the body. All of the seams except for the very outside pieces are going to be pressed open. Now the cutting instructions for all of these are in the show notes below, and it's going to remain a free pattern for as long as YouTube exists. So here we go. Let's start this up here. I just need to have, okay, get take my first one, and now I'm going to make sure I know how to sew this. Now you can draw your lines or press your line with the sewing machine. It works, you know, whatever works for you. I'm pretty confident I can sew a 1/4 inch seam along this line. So now I'm just going to sew this one real quick, and this goes like this, and I take it and I go the angle in which I need it. Now I'm also going to sew, oh wait a minute here, this is also a stitch and flip, and what happens with this is I want the piece to look like that, so I'm going to sew this way. Okay, so that's the little spout. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run off all of these. I'm going to put the creamer spout back, but first I'm going to cut off the excess. We don't need all of that. And again, I'm going to press open just to reduce bulk. So I don't know where you're going to see this the best. Then you just run your fingernail, or if you have a pressing tool, by all means go ahead and do that. That's fine. Now I'm going to take this handle and I'm going to trim off the corners. And yes, some people check. I don't. You know, I've never really had these things so wrong, so I'm not a big checker when it comes to that kind of thing. I'm just going to press all of this open first and then line up the sugar handle, or the handle again. So that goes there, and this gets pressed open, 2, and here we go. Oh, I missed cutting off that point. That extra little point got missed. Oh well, I'll cut it off now. And we're just going to open up this. Now, so I'm laying this all back into a handle, and once I see the handle shape, now I start sewing it together. So I'm going to sew these two pieces first and leave, and I'm going to flip up. Oh, I'm going to change feet first. Hang on, I'm going to put this all back. I'm going to change feet first because I like my 1/4 inch. I don't like doing those flip and stitch, or yeah, I don't like doing those with a 1/4 inch walking foot. They tend to get kind of lumpy. So I do it with a straight foot, and then I switch feet. Okay, make sure I've got some good stuff happening here. Okay, now I'm sewing with the seam up because I need that seam to stay open. So this is where the edge I'm going to sew on. So I need this edge to stay open. And these two pieces get sewn together, and both of them have seams, but you see which one you can get sewn right away, and then you kind of make sure the other one doesn't flip open on you. There we go, and I'm just going to run this through. And I'm going to snip that. And all we're doing now is working on this handle, because that's, some people are having problems with the handle, but it's okay. There we go. I'm just going to put that like that. And the bottom of the handle with a space for the finger. Okay, it goes like that. Right, so now I'm going to take these two pieces and sew them together. Making sure, again, I've got a good 1/4 inch and I'm not making any of them flip. And now I'm going to start sewing this stuff together, because this will come together pretty quick now. You see that the body is just very, basically only 4 little pieces. And I've got one more seam for the handle to make. And I'm just going to press this open with fingers. You can do it with, you know, steam or whatever. I have had no luck when I use steam. I am always stretching my blocks and they're not happy. So I'm going to put these two together. There. Make sure it flips the right way. And I'm just going to push this out of the way to get this open. Now, one of the other things somebody has said, these don't line up. And it's like, yeah, they don't line up. I designed it that way. So you don't have to sit there and worry about matching seams from the handle to the body, right? That makes this pattern a little bit easier, more beginner friendly. And, you know, I like the look of that unmatched thing going on. So, and I'll show you what I mean in a minute. Now we got everything off, the body and the handle. So I'm just going to finger press this open and lay it all down so you can see what I'm talking about. Now if you wanted your handle to go the other way, the time to do that would be before you start sewing. You know, on your picture and your spout to go one way and the handle will go the other. So here's the body. Now I'm going to take it like this. See, none of these seams match up to what's going on here. So it helps spread the bulk of the seams out. So I'm just going to roll it through, and I'm going to try and make sure I just start a little bit, and I make sure I've got a good end. Now I'm going to make sure my seams all stay open, like even the ones underneath, because that's going to help reduce the bulk. Because there's so many seams in a very little area. And that's open. There we go. And that one's going to flip, but not now, it's not. Okay. There we go. And now we put the spout on. Okay. After I finger press this all open. Now this actually speeds up the making of the block fairly quick. If you get a good, and you're not really stretching the seam, right? Because you're only doing little bits at a time. Okay, so there's our picture so far. And I'm going to make sure I have this up, because I've got more seams on this side than I have on the other side. That one's, yep, that's going to lay open. Oops, I just about caught, I just about flipped. You could pin these too so they wouldn't flip, but we're not doing a big fancy quilt, right, for a show or anything. We're just making basically a couch throw. So now I'm going to press this open. All right. I really love this yellow in here. I think it makes the block just pop. Oops, there we go. So now we're here. Now we're going to start sewing on the very outside, and all of that just gets pressed to the outside. Right? So now we're going to start with the top. The top of the block always goes on first. And again, I want to be able to see that all my seams are staying open. And this one's going to flip. Okay. So I'm just pressing it out. And it does really make, this does really make a big difference when you go to iron it now. So there's like this. We're going to take the far one. We're going to take the far one. And normally it's always the smallest piece on top, but you want to make sure this all stays open, right? So, and you've got two little points here that you want to make that point, where you want to make sure that you're not cutting off that little point, because it'll make your block look a little crisper. Now let's, okay, got that through. Okay, now. And get up to this point, and you can steer. Then if you're not going to make your point, you can kind of steer so that you do make your point. And because you pressed it open too, you can really see it good. And I had to do a little steering. Okay, there we go. And now we're going to put this on. And I don't want to cut off the spout of my picture, so I'm going to make sure I sew it this way. And this is a pretty straight basic run after you get past the picture. But you want to make sure, because you can see where the point is on the back. There we go. And we're ready for the rest. And we're past the point. And now the last piece is the bottom. There we go. We're done. Now we're going to make sure we finger press that open and make sure that we have it all the way it's supposed to be. There. And okay, now there's the block. It's all ready. It'll probably look better once it's actually pressed with an iron. But as you can see, this point, this point here, I didn't cut off the tip of the point on the spout or the points on the triangles on the handle, right? Because you need to make those nice and crisp, and that'll make a big difference on your block. So let me iron this up, and then I'll show you the other one I made, because you have to make two of these. So this is the creamer picture that we just made. And it's cute, very unexpected background. It kind of gives it a more modern vibe. There's a punch of blue that makes everything else pop off this block. Really cute. But this is the block I made to go with it on the opposite corners. Now on the cream and sugars, remember you're only making 2 blocks because they're in the corners of the quilt. So what do you think? Really cute and really simple? Well, I think these will go perfectly with all the other blocks that I made. And just to give a quick recap, I've got them all separated. Here's the ones we made last week, the latte cups. And they're just, you know, very simple, very quick, lots of fun, all these fun little blocks. And here's block 4. And I have mock-ups. I've made mock-ups of all of these just to make sure the pattern works before I start cutting into the beautiful fabric my friend Marilyn sent me. So here's the shorter cup, the demi cup. This one I just loved with I just made them all like lighter backgrounds there, more traditional look. You can do whatever you'd like on your block though, or your quilt. And it's a good scrap buster too. And this is a taller cup that we made, again with some of the brown backgrounds, a red background with a black cup, a red cup with a white background. And of course my favorites were blocks 1 and 2. Because I just thought they were fun. They were just a bunch of crazy fun colors to play with. And this is going to be quite the little quilt when we're all done. But aren't they cute? So when we're putting this all together, there's my white cup. Because somebody has to have a white cup. And all of this. So we're getting closer and closer all the time now to being able to put the quilt together so you can see what's going on. So this should be fun. Come sew with me, okay? We'll see you next week. Bye! If you have questions about what you saw on this video, or you have ideas for content or something you want to see us do, please put those comments in the description below. But also, while you're there, like, share, and subscribe with your friends. That would really help us out. Okay, I want to thank you and have a great day.